Merry Christmas. Good afternoon, and welcome to Unitarian Universalist Church West. My name is Reverend Jill Braithwaite, and I serve this church as its minister. I use she, her pronouns. Today, we gather to celebrate the Christmas holiday through stories and song, and to hear the old story in new ways. On this Christmas Eve, no matter what religious traditions we connect with, we gather to share in this ancient tale that reminds us that wonder and hope arrive in unexpected places, and that love is born to us anew each day. Later in our service, we'll be lighting candles together. If you're online and need to grab a candle, you're welcome to do so now. If you don't have a candle available, that's of course fine. For those in the sanctuary, if you didn't get a candle on your way in, now is a good time to grab one just outside the doors or raise your hand. Excellent. Our Christmas Eve call to worship comes to us from the Reverend Gretchen Haley. Calling all who cannot wait any longer for joy, for hope and some good news, even a little. The time has come, the waiting is over. Here in this time, we have an old story to tell, one that has been shared over and over for thousands of years. But still somehow it remains unheard, still radical and risky, breaking through into these days of darkness and cold, division and fear, interrupting the perpetual stories of violence and loss and the feelings of powerlessness. Into the errands and errors of our everyday, Christmas arrives not only to comfort, but to awaken, to reassure, and also to stir us up as a new life, a life of peace and justice and courageous love struggles to be born. Wondering if we will yet be the ones who make room in our lives and in the world for the refugee, for the poor, the plain and messy sweetness of a newborn baby. If we will take the journey to Bethlehem, if we will be changed by the presence of a love that meets us where we are, in the fields wherever we lay, and calls us forth into a new journey, a brave and bolder life, believing that it is not too late for strong and gentle people to win, for compassion and truth to have the final say, for the bright light of hope to shine through, even on the darkest night. Come, let us celebrate the good news of Christmas, and let us worship together. Now let's rise in body and or spirit, and we'll sing together, "O come, all ye faithful." When we light our chalice, we bring the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith to life together. I now invite Nick to light the chalice as all of us speak the chalice lighting words together. They are printed in your order of service. Let us open our eyes to see what is beautiful. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nick Clark. My pronouns are he and him. It is a privilege to be co-leading the service with Reverend Jill. It's a comfort to be together on this special evening and a joy to hear the beautiful music of your voices as we move through the service of carols and stories. I'd also like to welcome those who are watching online. Hello. You're also part of our community, and we honor and respect you and hope you enjoy the service as well. If you're a newcomer and you'd like more information about us or Unitarianism, you can send us an email via the email found in the Newcomers tab of the UUCW website. You are also welcome to introduce yourselves or ask for more information, or feel free to talk with myself or Reverend Jill after the service. This service is for all ages, and we welcome all joyful and not so joyful noises here. There's an activity table over here for those of you who might want to keep hands busy during the service. The community room is also available where the service is being streamed. Does everybody have a candle? Awesome. If you do not have the candle, go ahead and raise your hand, and one of our ushers will bring one to you. So Reverend Jill and I are going to do a quick demonstration to prepare you for how we will be doing our candle lighting later. All right. So the person next to you will be holding the candle up. If you're the candle receiver, maybe, there we go. And you bring yours straight up. The person next to you will then go ahead and do the same thing, and so on and so forth. Please keep the candle up and down. It'll protect you from the wax and also it dripping on the floor. Once your candle is lit, you should always hold it up. Oh, yeah, I already said that, sorry. So for right now, you can just keep your candles along the side. And to begin our story, let us enjoy some special Christmas music.
Our story tonight begins with a young couple hearing some rather startling news. God had sent the angel Gabriel to the Galilean village of Nazareth to visit a young woman named Mary, who was engaged to be married to a carpenter named Joseph. The angel entered Mary's bedroom and said, "Good morning. You are beautiful with God's beauty, beautiful inside and out. God be with you." Well, Mary was thoroughly shaken and afraid. Now, wouldn't you be a little shaken and afraid if an angel showed up in your room out of the blue? But the angel assured her, "Mary, you have nothing to fear, for God has a gift for you. You have been chosen to give birth to a son and to call him Jesus. He will be a great leader and teach the world to love one another." But Mary said to the angel, but how will I become pregnant? I'm not married, and I don't want to create a child before I'm married." But the angel answered, "You will be blessed by the Holy Spirit, who will bless your womb with a child. For this reason, the child you bring to birth will be called Holy, the Son of God." And so it was that Mary agreed to what the angel said and would give birth to a baby whose name would be Jesus. Now, when Joseph found out that Mary was with child, he was heartbroken. How could he marry someone who was carrying a child that wasn't his? But an angel also came to Joseph in a dream and said to him, "Fear not, for the child conceived in Mary is from the Holy Spirit. He shall be called Jesus and be known as Emmanuel, which means God is with us." Joseph then woke up and he was reassured. He went ahead and he married Mary, and he vowed to love and support the child who would soon arrive.
This particular story is set in a particular time and a particular place, and for many people it has particular meaning. But the message is much broader than just its particulars. I think for one thing, the question is not, is the Bible true or false, but rather, do we read it literally or metaphorically? When we read it as metaphor, we can experience its truth in new ways. The part of the story that we just heard speaks to our own inherent worth, just as we are, and to the power of chosen family. God, the divine, incarnate as a new baby, was welcomed by these two surprised young people, and Joseph became a proud and loving adoptive father. He chose to trust his dream. And Mary, instead of being shamed for an out-of-wedlock birth, God told Mary in no uncertain terms that her baby was divine. This is a holy family. They are remarkable not because they are somehow set apart, but because they show us that love is the birthplace of hope, the birthplace of justice. In this way, they are not the holy family, but a holy family. In the very same way, your family, no matter how countercultural or complicated, biological or chosen, whether composed of 1 or 100 people, whether alive on earth or alive in your memory, no matter what, your family is a holy family. The way this ancient story begins invites us to reflect, what message does the angel, the messenger of love itself, have for you tonight? The message starts with the reassurance that you are worthy. It surprises us with its boldness, and then it calms our fears. When you listen deeply, what is love's message for you? I invite us now to rise in body and or spirit to sing together, O Little Town of Bethlehem.
Oh The ancient story continues. About that time, Caesar Augustus ordered a census to be taken throughout the empire. Everyone had to travel to their hometown to be counted. So Joseph and Mary had to travel from Nazareth up to Bethlehem in Judah for the census. Bethlehem was a little under 100 miles away, and in those days you had to walk to get anywhere on land, so it took 4 or 5 days to make the journey. Mary was heavy with child at this point, which must have made the trip especially challenging. Shortly after they got to Bethlehem and had registered for the census, Mary told Joseph that she felt like the baby was coming soon. They looked and looked for a place to stay, but there was no room at any of the inns they checked, as they were all full of other folks coming for the census. Finally, one innkeeper said, "I have no rooms for rent, but I have a stable, and you're welcome to sleep there. It's filled with animals, but it's nice and warm." Mary and Joseph, grateful for this kindness, accepted this gift and settled down for the night. The time came for her to give birth, and Jesus was born. On this very special and also very ordinary night, in a very extraordinary but also very everyday kind of place, a beautiful child was born. Mary wrapped him in a blanket, and Joseph snuggled him. They laid him in the manger and watched their sweet boy sleeping as they themselves dreamed of how this immense love might change the world.
When any baby is born, it is a time of wonder and awe. We might tell the story this way. A long, long time ago, but it could have been 2024, a child was born in Bethlehem, but it could have been in Brookfield or Muskego or Chicago or Managua. A baby was born and they named that child Jesus, but the child could have been named Nora, Aaliyah, Jose, Amir, or any of the names of the children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren born into the community of UUCW and our wider world. Or we could tell the story this way, as Reverend Amy Petrie Shaw writes. And it came to pass in those days that Central American countries were in turmoil, and word went out that people were going to flee the United States to find safety from violence. And many people fled violence and persecution, some alone and some with their families. And Jose went up from Honduras because his house had been bombed and his family attacked, to seek asylum with his girlfriend Maria, who was pregnant. And so it was that while they were traveling, the days were accomplished that she would be delivered. And so she brought forth her firstborn son on the ground and wrapped him in her own shirt and held him to her heart, because there was no safe place to lay him anywhere. And the angel said unto them, "Fear not, for behold, I bring you great tidings of joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you today, born this day in the desert, is a Savior, who is Christ the Lord." Reverend Shaw reflects on this version of the story, writing, "When we see pictures of Jesus of Nazareth, he is often not shown as the Middle Eastern Jew he actually was. He gets painted with wavy hair and sometimes even blue eyes. We whitewash the story, and I think about what the world might look like if we saw Jesus the way he was. A dark-skinned refugee, a religious minority refugee. What if instead of accepting the lies of colonialism and empire, we dared to understand that the call of Christmas is the call to go to the manger and journey with that beloved child born into poverty? It is hard to hate, hard to fear when you see the face of the holy. Where have we averted our eyes from the holy, from the face of the holy? In this weary, broken, and yet still beautiful world, Where do you catch a glimpse of the divine? And how might you let your heart's gaze linger there a while? For our next carol, we'll be singing O Holy Night together, but first, a bit of history. O Holy Night was written in 1843 in France by a socialist atheist and set to music by a Jewish composer named Adolphe Adam. Because of this, it was denounced by the French church, but the French people kept on singing it. More than a decade later, during the Civil War era in the United States, a Unitarian minister translated it into English. Reverend John Sullivan Dwight was an ardent abolitionist, and he saw in O Holy Night not just a sweet song about Jesus, but a radical call to hope for weary souls and to justice in a world shot through with violent racism. Many churches refuse to sing the abolitionist verse, and still today, many of the most popular versions of the song either leave that verse out entirely or change the lyrics to cover up its abolitionist roots. We'll sing it together with that verse included. I invite you now to please rise in body and or spirit, and let's join together in singing O Holy Night.
All day the world is sin
Jesus' parents were two of the people who had been waiting and wishing and hoping for him to be born. But there were other people who had been waiting and wishing and hoping for Jesus to come. These people saw hurt and suffering in the world, and they believed that this new baby, Jesus, could use his voice to spread a message of love and peace. And they knew it would take courage for him to do so. The story goes, when the Magi heard the word of the king, they departed. And behold, the star which they had seen in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. And when they had come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented gifts to him, gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
And other things babies need. The Magi and the shepherds and many other people were looking for hope. And they looked to the night sky for hope, for a sign that the way things currently are is not how they will always be. We know in this moment we are living in right now, grief and fear are present. We know loneliness and despair in this time. The world keeps on turning, and of course our grief is along for the ride. And then, as the world turns, a star appears, a beacon of light that proclaims that hope is being born. In the words of Reverend Dan Schatz, imagine the shepherds on the road. It was cold the night we shepherds heard the news. Come and see, a child is born, the world made new. We nodded to each other. This made sense. The world is new with every child. As we trudged from the hills, bags over our shoulders, we wondered about this child and his young parents. What brought them here? What could we offer? What would fortune bring to the life just now beginning? When we came to the place under the star, we found love, born once more to all the earth. What joy is waiting, safe and warm, and ready for you to find it? And what gifts will you offer when you greet it? I now invite you to rise in body and or spirit, and we'll sing together, "There's a Star in the East." 170-some years ago, around the same time O Holy Night was written, another Unitarian minister, Edmund Hamilton Sears, wrote the hymn, "It Came Upon the Midnight Clear." It was a bloody time in this country's history when he was writing. The Mexican-American War had just ended. Civil war was inching closer. In that wounded time, this shy minister wrote this hymn not with a hope for some other world, but in hope that this very world would know peace, and all the people in it would sing together, "Peace on earth, goodwill to all. Peace on earth, goodwill to all." Is that farther from us now than it was 170 years ago? Peace on earth, goodwill to all people. Is it farther than it was 2,000 years ago? In this wounded time, we sing our hope for this world. Now I invite you to please remain seated, and we'll sing together, "It Came Upon the Midnight Clear."
Amen.
Every month, this congregation generously chooses one worthy service organization to support through our Split the Plate program. On this Christmas Eve, as is our tradition, we're taking a once-a-year offering for a special purpose, our Ministers Make a Difference Fund. Monies in the Ministers Make a Difference Fund are used to assist folks in circumstances that require a financial response. Often, these are people in our church community, but not always. This fund can help when regular safety nets fail, or help someone who is hurting or needs to pay utility bills or buy medicine or groceries. Helping each other like this reflects the values of this faith community, that we are here for one another, that we care for one another. Any one of us might be in need, and any one of us can help. If you're someone who could use some temporary financial support, please reach out to me. We are here for you. So during this season of giving, I hope that those of you who can will touch the lives of many by giving heartily to this fund. There is information on the screen about different ways to donate. And our offerings for the Ministers Make a Difference Fund will now be gratefully received. Now please join me in speaking the words for dedicating our offering. They are printed in your order of service. To the work of this community, which is to ground ourselves in love and joy, and to act for inclusion and justice. We dedicate ourselves and these offerings.
Our story for tonight has been told. As we prepare for our candlelighting ceremony, let us hold in our hearts these words from Howard Thurman about the work of Christmas. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and the princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, that's when the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the people, and to make music in the heart.
As we breathe together into the quiet of this moment, it's time now for the lighting of our candles. After we are all lit with tonight's special light, we will sing Silent Night together. I now invite Nick and our readers to come forward and take a light from my candle, and then share it with the end person in each row, and then that person will quietly pass down the row. As we share our light, I offer words of candlelight blessing from Reverend Kimberly Debus. Let us know in the darkness the gift that each candle bears, a small flame, a tiny light, yet the wondrous gift to kindle another's glow. Let us hope for peace and goodwill this night. Yes, the stars are brightly shining here, and we are blessed to share this holy night together. Now I invite you to rise in body and or spirit, and we'll sing together Silent Night. before you sit and before you extinguish your candles, please just take a moment to look around at your beautiful faces lit by candlelight. Please be seated. And now I invite Nick to extinguish our chalice, and you may extinguish your candles as well. Nick, would you extinguish our chalice? Poor Nick is otherwise occupied at the moment. No. Tonight, my friends, in this gathered community, we have opened our hearts to the beauty of story and music, this ancient tale. We have turned to one another and lit each other's candles in the dark. And though we extinguish our chalice, we do not extinguish the shining spark of hope that shines on. Our closing words this evening are from Fra Giovanni Giacondo. I salute you. There is nothing I can give you which you have not, but there is much that, while I cannot give, you can take. No heaven can come to us unless our hearts find rest in it today. Take heaven. No peace lies in the future which is not hidden in the present moment. Take peace. The gloom of this world is but a shadow. Behind it, yet within our reach, is joy. Take joy. And so, at this Christmas time, I greet you with the prayer that for you, now and forever, the day breaks and the shadows flee. May it be so, and Merry Christmas.